And I'm going to talk to you about empowering by assisting. And I want to lead with a portion of scripture from Mark 6:35 through 44. You're probably familiar with it, but it's going to be the foundation for what I'm going to talk about with you today. And it reads, "When it grew late, his disciples approached him and said, 'This place is deserted, and it's already late. Send them away so they can go into the surrounding countryside and villages to buy themselves something to eat.' Jesus says, 'You give them something to eat.' They said to him, 'Shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give them something to eat?' He asked them, 'How many loaves do you have? Go and see.' When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. And he instructed them to have all the people sit down in groups in the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke the loaves, and he kept giving to them and gave them to the disciples to set before the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. Everyone ate and was satisfied. They picked up 12 baskets full of pieces of bread and fish. Now those who had eaten the loaves were 5,000 men." It's an incredible story of assisting. When I was a coach at Avondale High School, we would have the pre-practice or pre-game routine. And by the time our athletes were juniors or seniors, they're very familiar with the routine. They could almost do it unconsciously. But if we ever had a freshman or a sophomore that was up with us that was not familiar with the routine, they needed some help with that. And so I would have the leaders, the upperclassmen, own that part of practice. I mean, that was their time in preparation for what we were about to do, or their time for preparation for battle, for a game. And so they would own it. And I would have them teach or assist the underclassmen on how we do things. What are the routines? This is how it goes. And it helped empower the older athletes, the upperclassmen, and it also helped the underclassmen understand and know the power of assisting. In Mark 6, this large group has gathered, and it's later in the day, and they have nothing to eat. And the disciples wanted to send them away so they could get their own food. But Jesus says, "You get them something." So they've been given this task of feeding the crowd, and they needed assistance. And this is where Jesus steps in. The power of assisting. Rooted men, as you seek to empower others in your E3 discipleship journey, you need to begin to give away some of those responsibilities and challenge that person that you're discipling to either start a prayer plan or start a Bible study, whatever it is you think was the next step for them as they've been watching you, as you've been modeling it for them. I don't know if you guys have been doing the E3 maps. It's a great tool that I utilize all the time. I'm going to tell you a story about this one in just a moment, but this is a story about Utica Ford and Warren Mott High School, right? And it's a way, that map can provide the structure of who you're discipling and who they're connected to. And for me, I'm a process-driven type of person, so I like to have those visuals just to help me with who I'm working with, what's the next play to run with them in terms of the discipleship journey. And, assisting is a way for you to provide assistance along the way so they can learn and improve. And it's really an art form. It's a form of coaching. And to come up with the right blend of support and challenge, you need to pray about it, right? Because if you can do that, it can really help a person flourish in their faith journey in terms of discipleship. I want to leave you with this statement before I share the story. People grow when they do ministry, not just when they are ministered to. And there has to be someone leading that. There has to be someone inviting them into that. There has to be someone coming alongside them to help them see that. So this story from this map, Utica Ford and Warren Mott High School. So I want to share this out. Sean Terbandi is the one at the center of that E3 map. He's the person I got introduced to by Jeff Olson. Jeff Olson's a member of my church. He's a leader of the Faith Sports Academy, former high school basketball coach. We know each other. He introduced me to Sean. Sean is a spirit-led coach, Christ-pursuing coach, strength and conditioning coach. He happens to lead the strength and conditioning program at Utica Ford High School, but he's also a teacher at Warren Mott High School. So Sean invited him in to speak at our Coaches Appreciation Breakfast a couple of years ago about physical wellness. And man, he was powerful. And I knew that I wanted to spend more time with this person. And so I spent 10 one-hour sessions online during COVID with him and another coach he invited into it at Utica Ford, Troy Costco. And we spent this time together. And through our experiences, I knew that Sean was a leader. He was someone that I can empower, someone that be receptive to that. So Sean launched a student-led huddle at Utica Ford High School last year. Now, what a huddle is, it's an empowering opportunity for student athletes to own their faith. And Sean was discipling those young athletes. Well, would you know that this year the Lord brings Luke Heidi to Utica Ford High School. Luke Heidi is a former athlete at Utica Ford. Knew Sean, was on the football team there. Sean's got his education degrees coming back, and he wants to work at Utica Ford High School. And now he's a football coach at Utica Ford High School. He's on the staff. And he's also helping Sean with the strength and conditioning. And what Sean is learning to do is to pass off and to assist Luke to lead this huddle now. So Sean is discipling Luke. Luke is going to be discipling the student-led athletes. The student-led athletes are going to be, hopefully, discipling the athletes, and they can invite the other athletes into this multi-sport huddle at Utica Ford High School. Absolutely amazing what the Lord is doing there. Bring Warren Mott in. So Zach Hartman, who's on that map, gets connected to me. He's now a youth pastor at a church right across from Warren Mott High School. Knows Sean, introduced himself to Sean. He is looking to be, he loves FCA, wants to be a part of what we do. So now him and Sean are connecting on a play to run at Warren Mott High School. This is how God connects the dots when we have the right heart and the right intentionality, and we have a play and a blueprint to follow. And we do it prayerfully, we do it with consistency, and we wait for the Lord to move in it. The power of assisting